Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. This is a spoiler-filled review for the 4th episode, Blood in the Streets, Fear the Walking Dead 2nd season. And like, if you haven't seen the episode, take this, put in your watch later, come back. Fortunately, Joe was not able to get the whole full episode, but he was able to get the tail end. I'll get his opinions about it later. Maybe we can join in with the live discussion a little bit later on in the week. But these are my thoughts. Alright, so like I said, this is spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, come back to this. I really enjoyed the episode. It was just really weird because the first thing that happens is you see Nick butt naked, basically, like swimming out, like onto a beach, and like a Navy SEAL person, like starts putting his clothes on, lures a walker away, digs into the walker, and then just puts all the stuff all over his body and just walks around. And I was just like, that's a G moment. And matter of fact, it legitimately made me sick. Like, I really felt sick after that. And normally stuff like that, Walking Dead doesn't do that. It's just the way that they shot it and the way they did it. And I knew he was going to do it, but I was like, that's sick, you know? And I think that I love when these characters have moments where the characters of The Walking Dead would have. I know it sounds weird, but these are really two different eras and two different shows in a lot of different respects. And that's one of the problems that I have about the episode, because Nick has another moment where like he's walking through this gate area, and it's like you can tell this is interesting build up, and like he sees this walk and he just walks casually past him. Like, I was like, this is an awesome looking scene. And then the same thing happens a little bit later on when Nick meets up with a person that Strand knew, and the dude, like, he's a sharpshooter, because basically they find out that there's people that have raided the freaking boat. Dude pops one dude in the head, pops another dude in the head, and I was like, see, when it's on, it's epic. But then I gotta talk about the negatives, because when there's downtime, like on the boat, basically while Nick is out there, they never tell you why Nick really left until later on that Strand took him out. But there was never a time period stamp where you're like, okay, at what point is this happening, why, you know? And then on top of that, they add those different flashbacks for Strand, which I'll get into that a little bit later. But on the boat, basically, they finally get raided. They find 3 people come up. This one girl claims she's having problems with her baby. I knew it was coming. All of a sudden, like, she pulls a knife out on Madison. I don't know how Madison couldn't, like, kick the girl or something, or threaten the baby or whatever to get away, but she didn't, you know. Everybody else gets captured. There's a dude, I swear it looks like Jesse McCartney, puts a gun to Chris's head, and it's a really bad situation. And then the person, Jack, that Alicia had been talking to, that's his group. So they're waiting for the rest of their group to meet up. And it's becoming really tense really quick, because obviously these folks are unstable, and they don't know what their real agenda is, if they really just want to kill them or whatever. And then on top of that, when the shooting starts off, Strand had jumped off the boat and they shot at him. I thought that was Nick at the time, but ended up finding out it was Strand. And I don't know, it was weird, because when you get to moments like towards the end where Travis takes this pipe and puts it up his sleeve, or Madison's telling Daniel to get ready and she's audibly talking about it, and she keeps on reiterating it, instead of like, oh wow, man, I hear y'all talking about this, I'm just gonna shoot you now. Like, I don't know, like, when the dialogue is actually happening, it's like they take too long for them to take the action, and it takes you away from how epic it really could be, instead of them just not using words and how it just plays out. That's what I'm used to with The Walking Dead. Like, somebody is sitting there talking like the way they were talking, or like something that Travis did, like it would, you know, like people would kind of catch on, you know, because they wouldn't have a choice from a survival standpoint. And they do fall through. Like, when they actually do, you know, I knew it was coming. Like, somebody was going to get hit by that pipe, someone was going to get popped in the head. I just didn't know the guy that Nick had was a good sharpshooter. That was a really interesting surprise, and I'm hoping for the show to wow me and surprise me. It's only got 3 episodes left, so that's why I'm really torn. And then the other big thing about this is Strand's backstory. Like, we find out Strand not only was a thief, but he also had a lover. And like Strand, I don't know if he's bisexual or homosexual, but either way, he has this connection or relationship with this man that is wealthy. Like, I mean wealthy, I mean is wealthy. But he had this point after Katrina hit that he lost all of his money. He went bankrupt, met up with this guy. They started connecting. The guy got drunk. He took all his credit cards, made that money back, invested it, and then was like, oh, I got you back later, basically. And it's this weird kind of interesting relationship. I knew, they were alluding to that. I kind of felt like they should have just went on and did it instead of prolonged it all the way to the very end, because it just kind of made it feel uncomfortable in the sense of just saying, okay, this guy is with this other guy, and you just don't know what Strand's backstory is. I already got enough questions about Strand without having to drag things out longer. And I think that it would have benefited to know how much amount of time, like they would have given a timestamp. I think that would have been so much better. Unless you know when Katrina actually hit, you wouldn't know the timestamp versus what's going on, because we don't know in this era and time that Fear the Walking Dead takes place. So, I don't know. I think that that's some of the things that they really could have capitalized on. It could have made the episode better. But still, this was a good episode. When a lot of the action beats were happening, I enjoyed them. I was wild by them. I was sick by them. But I don't know. Like, when there's tension, I feel like they could have done so much better with it tangibly. But I'll talk about it more later in my live discussion. I'll talk to Jarrell, see what he thinks about it. But keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. I gave the episode a 8 out of 10 too. Peace out.